From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, March 21st. Today, we're going to have a lot more cloud cover. Light rain will be arriving closer to sunset tonight, high of 55 degrees, so pretty overall a nice day. And again, that rain's going to stay away until the evening hours, where we'll get some light showers, maybe some light breezes, with a low temperature of 42 degrees. A mother and son are hurt after a shooting on the east side. It happened just before 12:30 this morning on Short Ridge Road at an apartment complex across the street from IMPD's East District. At last check, both victims are stable at IU Methodist. Investigators think the shooting started as a fight between neighbors when someone pushed a door into someone else. Police have not said who shot the victims. Now to another shooting that happened at a busy Indianapolis gas station in the middle of the day, and it wounded an innocent worker across the street. The shooting happened around 3:15 yesterday afternoon at the Shell gas station near 71st and Keystone. The bullet hit a woman working at the Sullivan's hardware store across the street there. She is in critical condition, according to police. There was crime scene tape up. There was a huge police response. Police say it all started when 2 to 3 vehicles crashed, pulled into the gas station, and one of the drivers opened fire. Police haven't said if anyone's in custody. A judge granted Keegan Kline a request to change his plea on his child pornography charges, indicating he may now plead guilty. Kline was set to go on trial in May, facing more than 20 charges for child porn. As we've reported, the case may be connected to the Delphi murders, though Kline is not charged in that case. Our news gathering partners at the Murder Sheet podcast say the change in the child porn plea could change also the course of the murder investigation.
If the Kline case were to go to trial, it could really help us delve into the facts around the Anthony Schatz account that Keegan was allegedly using to catfish young girls on the web. And that could tell us more facts about why investigators felt that could be connected with the Delphi case.
The plea hearing is scheduled for March 30th at 10 in the morning. And today, a regrouping in the effort to find a 14-year-old missing in Eaton. Today marks the 5th day in the search for Scotty Morris. Eaton police took to Facebook to share they will meet today with other agencies to discuss how they plan to proceed. Law enforcement officials are desperate to bring the teen home as they believe he's in extreme danger. Police ended yesterday's search at sundown with no new information coming to light. Other search efforts have included boats, drones, and bloodhounds. So far, they've had no luck. Morris is described as wearing glasses, a white shirt with black writing on the front, red and black shorts, and black shoes. Police say Morris was last seen on Indiana Avenue in Eaton Thursday night. The Eaton Police Deputy Chief issued a new plea last night.
At this time, we just ask if anybody knows where Scotty is at, you please reach out to us. We want to get him here safe and to try to help him in whatever he needs and the family. There have been several interviews done. Polygraphs have been conducted. At this time, we're still looking at other avenues, and we have no new leads, no new information. We're kind of at a standstill right now. So anything that you guys may know that can help bring Scotty home or to us, that would be greatly appreciated.
Eaton police also took time to address rumors about details in the case. A link to that full video is on our website. Anyone with information about Morris's whereabouts should contact Eaton police. Lawmakers are one step closer to banning some gun modifications. The state Senate voted in favor of the proposal yesterday. The legislation will make it illegal for anyone to possess devices, often called Glock switches, that can make guns act as automatics, firing dozens of bullets within just a few seconds. The House passed a similar bill last month. Both chambers will need to agree on a final version before it makes it to Governor Holcomb's desk. A deputy and a dog are getting praise for saving a missing child. Deputy Neil Horde and Maudie work for the Hamilton County Sheriff. A new post from the department says Sunday morning, while it was 16 degrees outside, the pair joined the search for a missing 12-year-old. The sheriff says Maudie used the scent on a piece of clothing to track the child's trail for 3/4 of a mile, leading to a successful find. Hundreds of Indiana healthcare professionals tried to stop a ban on gender-affirming procedures from leaving a House committee this morning. Healthcare professionals signed a letter asking lawmakers to halt SB 480. They delivered the letter to Republican Representative Brad Bennett yesterday. Bennett is the chair of the House Public Health Committee, which was set to hear the bill this morning. Along with the procedure ban, SB 40 also establishes how the law would be enforced. Doctors say the bill is harmful to transgender youth and will have a negative impact on patient-physician relationships.
Imagine for people who provide this gender-affirming care to young people, they're going to have these conversations with youth and their parents that this care could save your life, but I can't provide it because of our legislature. That's going to be a really hard conversation. These kids are going to have to get care out of state, and some of them are going to have worse outcomes.
The House Public Health Committee was scheduled to hear the bill at 8:30 this morning, so very well, as I'm recording this at 8:36, that discussion could be underway. Watch wishtv.com, News 8 at 11, and then in the evening hours as well for all of the latest on that. And today, former President Donald Trump says he expects to be arrested. Trump made the claim over the weekend. This morning, fencing barriers are up around the Capitol. Police say they put it out last night, preparing for protests if Trump's arrest claim proves to be true. New York police are also getting ready because Trump urged his supporters to protest. Last time this happened was the Capitol insurrection, when Trump called for protests in response to his 2020 election loss. Officials are monitoring online chatter of threats. Barricades are already set up in New York and Washington. Law enforcement says today is considered a high alert day, although so far there's been no credible threat. This is all happening as a grand jury investigates Trump over a hush money payment to Stormy Daniels just before the 2016 election. The jury took an important step forward yesterday by hearing from Trump's former attorney, Robert Costello. He testified for nearly 3 hours in an effort to discredit Michael Cohen, who's admitted to paying Daniels $130,000 to stop her from going public about an alleged affair with Trump. Cohen says Donald Trump is the one that asked him to do it. Trump has denied having an affair with Daniels and that this whole thing is politically motivated. He's also denied knowing that Cohen paid Daniels any amount of money to stay quiet. Costello says that his obligation is to bring the truth to both the district attorney and to Trump's lawyers. He says he has 330 emails and multiple meeting memos to do just that. Two top voices on all Indiana politics share a rare note of agreement on the issue. They both see the former president's claim as a way to control the conversation. Mario Massalamani is the chair of the Hamilton County Republican Party.
So if he knows that there's going to be a possible indictment, he is already setting the stage to have his supporters rally behind him, and also to make sure that the news cycle is talking about how this prosecutor in New York is after a political witch hunt.
Kip, too, is the former chair of the state Democratic Party. He says Trump's new comments remind him of the former president's statements leading up to the Capitol riot.
I'm really concerned about what his next move is with respect to this. I don't think this is the biggest indictment. I mean, I think this is for something that is more easily attacked than what's happening in Georgia or what happened on January 6th. But I think it's all part of Donald Trump's attempt to continue to destabilize our country.
Indianapolis Police and Indiana State Police both tell News 8 they're monitoring the situation, but have not heard of any protests or threats as of now. From My Team 8, a local expert says banks in Indiana are feeling less pressure from ongoing global instability than other states across the country. Matt Will is a finance professor at the University of Indianapolis. He says Indiana bank portfolios are safer than other banks that have failed or needed to be saved.
The way a bank works is they take your deposits, your checking accounts, your savings account, and then they lend it out to someone else. Well, in California, they're lending that money to crypto companies and venture capital companies. Those are both really high risk. Indiana does not have either one of those industries to speak of, and therefore we're not really at risk like the other parts of the country would be.
Will says Indiana banks are not immune to what's happening. He says the main problems are inflation and the Federal Reserve raising short-term interest rates. Most hospitals in Marion County are lifting temporary visitor restrictions due to a drop in the flu. The health department announced the change yesterday. The restrictions went into place in early December during high flu season. The health department says all county hospitals are lifting the restrictions with two exceptions. Rowdebush VA Medical Center and Riley Hospital for Children will keep the restrictions for now. The principal of North Central High School is on an extended administrative leave for an investigation into his behavior on the job. Washington Township Schools sent a letter to families and faculty yesterday. It says Principal Evans Brannigan III is now on paid leave while the district looks into claims of verbal misconduct and failure to follow student discipline protocols. The letter gives no specifics about what happened. An associate principal is leading the school until the district appoints an interim principal. That could happen as soon as tomorrow. The letter also notes that Washington Township was already working to choose a new permanent principal, a process slated to last through the end of April. A historic IU women's basketball season is over. The Hoosiers were knocked out of the NCAA tournament by the Miami Hurricanes last night. IU's biggest play came late in the game with less than 7 seconds to go. Yarden Garzon hit a step-back three-pointer to tie up the game at 68, but it wasn't enough. Miami put up 2 more to secure the 70-68 win in the final seconds. The end of the season also marked the end of IU star Grace Berger's career as a Hoosier. Mackenzie Holmes took at the news conference to the microphone. Pretty emotional. Talked about that ending.
It's hard to put into words right now. Obviously, I'm upset. My last game with Grace, and it's been a privilege to play with her these past 4 years. So I just hate that it has to end like this for her. But just a lot of emotions in our locker room right now.
Last night's Hoosier loss marked the second time IU was taken out of the tournament by the Hurricanes. Miami knocked out the IU men's team Sunday night. And to the Pacers, a double-digit first-quarter lead was not enough to secure a road win. The Pacers took on the Hornets last night in Charlotte. Indiana led by 18 at the end of the first quarter, but they were outscored in each of the final 3 quarters. Hornets win 115-109. Pacers will play the second of their 4-game road trip tomorrow. Travel to the Toronto Raptors, game time 7:30. Today, Team USA will look to win the World Baseball Classic, taking on Japan. America beat Cuba Sunday to land a spot in the final. Japan advanced against Mexico last night. The United States won the Classic in 2017. Japan has 2 titles, 2006 and 2009. Tonight's game starts at 7. A student is under arrest and facing a murder charge for a shooting at a school in Texas. We had this story as breaking news on Daybreak when it happened yesterday morning. Lamar High School is in Arlington, just outside Dallas. Police say the shooting started before most students had arrived back to class after spring break. One student, a boy, died in the hospital. A girl suffered minor injuries. Classes are canceled at the school today. Today, classes are also canceled for the Los Angeles Unified School District as tens of thousands of employees plan to walk off the job. It's the beginning of a 3-day strike over stalled contract talks. Teachers and faculty say they want better wages and more staff. The school superintendent says the union is refusing to negotiate. LAUSD is the nation's second largest school system. It includes more than 1,000 schools. A new report from a top United Nations panel issues a stark warning about the future of the world's climate. Scientists say humanity still has a chance, but it may be close to our last. The report, approved Sunday, says we must slash nearly 2/3 of carbon pollution and fossil fuels used by 2035. The data is significant because nations soon have to come up with pollution reduction goals for 2035 per the Paris Climate Agreement. The United Nations Secretary General is now calling an end to new fossil fuel exploration. He's also urging rich countries to quit coal, oil, and gas by 2040. The Biden administration is sending more money to help in the war in Ukraine. Secretary of State Antony Blinken made the announcement yesterday. Ukraine will receive an additional $350 million in security aid. It will also get more ammunition for U.S.-provided rocket launchers and weapons. Earlier this month, the U.S. approved a $400 million package for the country. So far, the U.S. has committed more than $32 billion in aid for Ukraine. The Department of Homeland Security is launching a new office focused on preventing domestic violence. It's called the Office of Family Violence Prevention and Services. Leaders say it will offer prevention programs, service for survivors, and help for families. The money for the office comes from the American Rescue Plan. New rules aimed at slowing down spam messages will take time to work. That's the take of a longtime writer covering the tech industry. The FCC voted unanimously last week to adopt the new rules. Phone providers must now block text messages from numbers that appear to be invalid, unallocated, unused, or designated as non-texting numbers. The FCC says it's also considering applying do not call registry protections to texts. A record season for the bird flu has experts concerned. According to the CDC, officials have reported more than 6,300 cases of bird flu across all 50 states. Experts say the risk to humans remains low, but the current strain is making some mammals sick. They say the virus only spreads through direct contact with an infected animal. Experts also say it's likely many bird flu cases are not even recorded. Flooding fears are back as more wet weather wallops the West Coast. More than 15 million people from Los Angeles to San Diego are under moderate flood risks this morning. At least 11 systems known as atmospheric rivers have already hit California this season. A new one could last through tomorrow. The strong winds alert extends into Nevada and Arizona, and forecasters say some areas could see gusts of 80 miles an hour. The White House hosted a memorable moment Monday, the cast of the comedy Ted Lasso visiting to take on a very real issue. Jason Sudeikis and other stars from the show sat with the Bidens in the Oval Office. Sudeikis also spoke at the White House podium discussing mental health.
No matter who you are, no matter where you live, no matter who you voted for, we all probably, I assume, we all know someone who has, or have been that someone ourselves actually, that's struggled, that's felt isolated, that's felt anxious, that has felt alone, right? And it's actually one of the many things that believe it or not, that we all have in common.
The show frequently takes on the mental health challenges that its lead character and others face. And today is the start of the civil trial of Gwyneth Paltrow. A man is suing her, seeking $300,000 for crashing into him on a ski slope. It happened in Utah in 2016. The man says the collision broke his ribs and left him with the brain injury. Paltrow contends the man suing her caused the crash and is trying to exploit her fame and wealth. Finally, to business headlines. The Federal Reserve meets today to once again consider an interest rate hike. Another hike was a sure bet until the banks started crumbling. Now the Fed must make a decision between stability and fighting inflation. It's expected to raise rates by 0.25%. The three major credit bureaus topped the list of complaints to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau in 2022. Consumers reached out to the CFPB for help with errors in their files, as well as problems with investigations of their complaints. All told, there were 604,221 complaints tied to TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Adults in the U.S. can soon have a blue checkmark on Facebook and Instagram as long as they pay and show identification. The service, called Meta Verified, costs $11.99 a month for Facebook accounts that sign up from a web browser and $14.99 a month through the Facebook or Instagram mobile apps. Meta Verified subscribers will get other perks like increased security checks and the ability to talk to a real person about account issues. Kroger expands store brand products as shoppers continue to feel the pinch of grocery inflation. About 30% of people globally say they're buying mostly store brand products instead of name brand items. CashNet USA reviewed Big Mac prices in all 50 states to determine where customers pay the most and pay the least for the iconic burger. In Indiana, it found the price of the sandwich is $4.11. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.